Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. Welcome to Study IQ English. I hope I'm audible and visible. Can you please confirm if I'm audible and visible? I thought there is a technical glitch. Can you please confirm? Can you please confirm, everyone? Am I audible and visible? All my dear aspirants, am I audible, visible? Can you hear me properly? Am I visible to everyone? Can you please confirm once? Okay, it's all clear. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much then. Good morning, Sagar. Good morning, Sitaram. Good morning, Musabat. Good morning, Bulbul, Kuldeep, Shikha, Polity, Aspirant. Ramu is here. Ramu, you were not there for the last 3, 4 days. I even asked about you. Good morning. Good morning, Rajneesh. Happy December. Yes, we are all beginning a new month now. Today is the 1st of December. We are getting inch by inch closer to our UPSC prelims journey. Yes, it's a milestone, I would say. And also, it's another milestone that we all started this initiative in August. Today, it's the fourth month we are doing these classes. So, it's all because of you. Thank you, each one of you. Good morning, aspirant. Then, good morning. There, Akhtar is here today. Lakshmi is here today. Dishank is here with us. Diptesh has come after a few days, I believe. Good morning, Diptesh. Good morning, Priyanshu. Very good morning, Sumedh. Very, very good morning, Madhur. Kuldeep, I already wished. Prajneesh is here with us. All right. Okay, you were not there just for Saturday. All right. Okay, not a problem. You're welcome, Ramu. I think Reshma was not here for the last 2 days. Vikash I met on Saturday. Diptesh was also not there Saturday. I'm meeting him today. But many aspirants were there with us. Shikha was also there. Then Anoop was there. Sitaram Priyanshu, aspirant, really helped me in making the session successful. Mohammed was there. So it was a good participation overall. Okay, Amarjeet is also here. Vikash has finally come. Good morning there. Raj has come. Good morning, Raj. Good morning, code name theme. All right then. Very good morning, each one of you, my dear. Stay blessed, stay happy, always praying for your success here with Study IQ English. Welcome to the Hindu news analysis for today. Today is 1st December, the beginning of a new month. Lot of hope, lot of hard work lays ahead. I will be with you step by step, wishing all of you a great success in upcoming prelims. Let's work hard. Let's make current affairs the most exciting segment of UPSC together. Let's make this community grow. And by the end of this year, I do hope that we are a larger community. We are a community where everyone absolutely loves current affairs and we can solve all the questions, whether MCQ, PYQ, or the upcoming exam. So, on that note, this is the Hindu news analysis where we look at the Hindu newspaper, the New Delhi edition, for UPSC relevant articles exclusively. And if you look at the screen today, we have about 7 articles that I have taken from the Hindu New Delhi. The first 2 articles are editorial articles. These are page number 8 because they are slightly lengthy. One talks about GS paper 3, science, health, nutrition. We are looking at tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS. Two such diseases, two such hugely, you can say, difficult to treat diseases that has costed Indian government lot of money, that has taken a lot of time. Today, how do we stand? What is the progress? The article talks about that. The second article is looking into animal representation. It's a very unique article written by the famous animal right activist Miss Menika Gandhi. So it's an article by her. Let's look at it from a UPSC GS paper 4 ethics perspective more. And then we have short articles from prelims. Of course, one is very interesting. It's about Pakistan. So Pakistan is not only in the news because of the Imran Khan controversy. Why are they hiding Imran Khan's details, the ex-prime minister? What exactly is happening to him behind the bars? Pakistan is also in the news because of the strategic defense agreement with Saudi Arabia. Yes, but also today Pakistan is in the news because United Nations is being very critical right now of a recent amendment that Pakistan has passed. So United Nations says whether it's 26th or 27th amendment that's recent, both of them are about defeating the purpose of constitutional democracy. It is absolutely like authoritarian government that is ruling Pakistan right now. So let's look at both these amendments. What's the problem really? Then we have two case studies to finish and a little bit about Cyclone Ditwa that is really taking a bad toll on the lives of people in Sri Lanka. It is approaching the coast of Tamil Nadu in India, and so many people have been evacuated, rescued from Sri Lanka. All of them are now reaching Kerala. The efforts of the Indian government are finally bearing fruit because we already spoke about Operation. Which operation was that? We discussed on Saturday. Operation What Bandhu, under which India has acted in the neighbor first policy, India's Mahasagar vision, announced in Mauritius. Which rescue mission is that? Operation What Bandhu? Remind me. In the meantime, let me start now. Okay, Mumtaz is here. I haven't seen Mumtaz, but if she's here, very good morning, my dear. I was missing you as well. Anoop has come. Kojumba is here, my dear Kojumba. Good morning. Very good morning. Operation, yes, aspirant. Absolutely correct. Yes, Vikash. Yes, Anoop. Yes, Shikha. Operation Sagar Bandhu Kuldeep. Correct. Let's not forget about Operation Sagar Bandhu, Diptesh Kujumba, the rescue effort of India in Sri Lanka. It's a broad initiative taken under the Mahasagar vision and the neighbor first policy. So now let's come back. Thank you for your comments, each one of you, my dear, including Kojumba, Ramu, Sita, Ram, Anoop. Sumedh, that's correct. Let's look at the first article from editorial page, and this is more of a case study. Now, if you remember, in the last 2 weeks, we have done few more case studies from Tamil Nadu. This is also a case study basically based on Tamil Nadu. Yes, Bulbul? Okay. And what does this article say? Just as Ramu reminds us that 1st December, the world's HIV AIDS Day. Yes, globally we are observing the World HIV AIDS Day today. And because we are celebrating this right from 1980 onwards, to make the world more aware and more sensitive towards the human immunodeficiency virus, that's HIV, that can cause AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, an immunity compromising disease, highly mortal in nature, causing lots of mortality. Now we have a cure for HIV, but where does India stand from 1980s, 1990s to today? What were the broad causes that suddenly more than 1% of Indians started experiencing AIDS, and has the government done something with the help of World Health Organization, World Bank loans to be able to control the problem? That's what we are looking at, but with reference to Tamil Nadu. That's the case study right now. Thank you so much for reminding me. Vikash, an aspirant, has reminded us beautifully that in Operation Sagar Bandhu, there were two main vessels from India which participated. One is INS Vikrant and the other is INS Udaygil. So that's for everyone to remember. Thank you, aspirant, and thank you, Vikash. Yes, Sagar was announced in Mauritius. A very good morning, my dear. Anu is with us and Shekhar has also come. Good morning. Thank you, Kojumba. Let's begin now, quickly. Today, as we celebrate the World AIDS Day, it was in the mid 1980s that HIV/AIDS epidemic, from the mid 1980s, it is the HIV/AIDS epidemic that has been impacting so many countries, but unfortunately, it has impacted more severely countries of Africa. Now, African continent is majorly impacted by HIV. Second happens to be South Asia, majorly impacted by HIV. So South Asia and East Africa are two regions which from 1980s have been severely impacted from this dangerous epidemic like situation, HIV/AIDS. But from the early 1990s onwards, India also experienced a sudden change. What happened from 1990s suddenly? Now let's not forget 1990s was an era of urbanization. It was also an era of globalization. People started migrating more outside India. There was more tourism into India. People started coming in India. Various multinational companies meant more travel for people. Increasing globalization meant, it also meant more interaction among Indians and the other members of the world community, various countries. Now, that meant by early 90s, India saw a breakthrough, a major increase in the number of total HIV cases. Very good, Vikash. Absolutely. 1991, we had the LPG reforms. Yes, our economy became a part of the global economy. India started inviting close to unlimited foreign direct investment, portfolio investment in various sectors. Now, naturally, people come here, people travel. Indians do go out. International travel has become more accessible, easy granting of visa, subsidized air travel. All that meant a revolution in people to people interaction. Indeed, in India, it had a very negative consequence. Absolutely, as Coach Humba says, it could be because of blood transfusion, it could be because of lack of education and literacy about sexual behavior. It could be about the rising menace of sexual trafficking. It could be about the rising narcotic and drug menace. For example, in India, we normally believe that in the northeastern states, if you say that the number of HIV cases are higher, that's only because of the rampant drug abuse that's very common, injectable drugs. So there are various cases. And then, of course, the case of mother to child transmission. That's again very, very common. So by 1990s, what happened? India saw rapidly increasing HIV from less than 1% to almost more than 1% of HIV impacted population. Majority of this definitely happened because of irresponsible, illiterate, uneducated early sexual behavior among people. Impact of Western culture, more urbanization, breakdown of family ties. Naturally, all these are social causes. Then, if you talk about the northeastern states, majority of people became victims of HIV because of unregulated needle sharing. And that happened among drug users. That's the trend in India. And how did the Indian government respond to it? What did the Indian government do to control this rising menace? We created a National AIDS Control Project, NCAP. What did we create? NCAP. The National AIDS Control Project. When was this launched? Very important. 1992. You see, this beautifully also tells us about how social cultural changes in the behavior of people, a change of culture practice, a change of social institutions, they also impact big time on disease rate in India. A very good example I can give you here. If we say that the rise in the cases of HIV/AIDS has social cultural causes also, a decline in joint family, high grade urbanization, individualism, Western behavior, exposure to digital media, if these are the cultural features behind HIV/AIDS, then you also know that from 1990s, rather from 1960s itself, once India had Green Revolution, since then, we also have seen very clearly that how Indian population became more predominant, more predisposed towards diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and insulin resistance. Why? Because cultural practice of food changed. Started consuming rice and wheat, and what happened? Indians also started developing comorbidities, non-communicable disease. That means there's a very deep link between your cultural practice and your health. It's visible here as well, right? So how did the Indian government respond? If 1991 was about globalization, 1992 was about the fear in India of HIV/AIDS. The government responded by making the NCAP, AIDS National AIDS Control Program, NACP, National AIDS Control Program, 1992, it was formally launched. How did it got finance? Yes, it got finance from the World Bank. The World Bank gave us a loan of $84 million. Do you see that? Now, here's a very interesting ethical question. Why do you think suddenly India got 84 million US dollar loan, that too from World Bank, for controlling HIV/AIDS? Any idea about that? Can anybody think about it a little bit? Why do you think that would have happened? Why suddenly the World Bank decided to give Indian government $84 million loan to control rising HIV epidemic? And because of that, India was able to, in 1992, create the NACP, National AIDS Control Project. Why do you think so much loan was received by us? A basic common sense is that in 1991, our economy adopted LPG, correct? As Vikash just said. But I've told you multiple times that, bacha, for GS paper 2 and 3, do not forget that LPG in reality is SAP. It is SAP. It is Structural Adjustment Program. From outside, it looks like the government is very happy about increasing foreign investment, about reducing the number of licenses, ease of doing business, expanding privatization, globalization. But that's a partial reality. The hidden side of it is the ugly SAP. What is SAP? We have spoken earlier. Okay, Shekhar, that's a very interesting point that you have raised. All right. To make a hub, that's okay, Ramu. That could be a case study oriented solution because Indian population is quite high. All right. All these are valid facts. I'm not saying they are not valid. But the real main economic reason, see, the world doesn't work on charity. Okay, let's be very clear about it. The world doesn't work on charity, bacha. It works on economic benefit. The fact that India adopted SAP, Structural Adjustment Program, it meant that India was the country which then decided to fulfill a condition given by IMF and World Bank that if you give us loans, we are ready to make a compromise. We are ready to relax our labor protection laws. We are ready to allow privatization and foreign investment in India. We are ready to stop the government welfare towards Indian people because no loan ever comes free. Please remember, nothing in life comes for free. IMF and World Bank never give loan for free. They always give conditional loans. It's not an unconditional loans. No, it's not a grant. It's called a bailout. Yes, Ramu. It's a capitalistic mindset. Absolutely polity. Correct. That's the idea behind SAP. So LPG in reality is the structural adjustment program. You adjust your structure. You relax your economy's control. The government should step back now and let the private sector grow, irrespective of income inequality, irrespective of poverty. Do not spend too much on welfare. Relax your labor laws. Do not follow the conventions of ILO. Let the labor suffer. Let social dumping happen, but you will allow multinational companies. You will open up privatization. That's the ugly thing about SAP, but we could not help it. It was a compulsion back then. And we did that. And now that you are ready to accommodate, no matter what you suffer, yes, they will help you. So there India signs up for LPG 1991. In 1992, $84 million loan comes from World Bank to control HIV/AIDS. The Indian government immediately opened the National AIDS Control Project. Initially, the implementation was very, very poor, very poor. It was because of bureaucratic delay, government process, corruption that it did not be successful. But in 1994, Tamil Nadu displayed a very successful case study here. It became a role model. Tamil Nadu introduced an innovative model by converting all the cells and departments that were created to tackle AIDS into Tamil Nadu State AIDS Control Society. So what did Tamil Nadu do? Tamil Nadu created a Tamil Nadu TN State AIDS Control Society called TNSACS. So the beautiful thing here was that from a government department, from a dedicated cell that could control AIDS, it became a cooperative society. It became a society now. It was registered under the Societies Act with Indian government and it became a full-fledged cooperative society. That was very interesting. Now what happened? Because it became a society, it started getting direct funds from the government. It now became more autonomous when it came to decisions. It also started overcoming bureaucratic hurdles. It was more efficient in functioning and it also created the rural level awareness programs against AIDS, HIV/AIDS. Okay? Is that valid? Now, the model which Tamil Nadu initiated in the form of TNSACS. What did we just say? Tamil Nadu State AIDS Control Society, registered cooperative society now, including many more people and much more finance, much more transparency of functioning. It reduced new infections of HIV in Tamil Nadu. Wow, what a success. Where initially the NACP was a failure, today the TNSACS became a huge success. The number of HIV cases started becoming less. People became more responsible. Young children were more aware about the safe sexual behavior. Mothers were informed, especially those who were expecting mothers. And it became a nationally successful model. Because it was so successful model, it had a role model effect. What is the role model effect? When you see something successful, People start copying that model. Just like in India, you have the model school program, Eklavya School. Yes, Guru Dronacharya Vidyalaya. All these are model schools. Similarly, PM Shri scheme. Create model schools for others to copy the same. So now also Tamil Nadu became a role model. And across India, the model was adopted nationwide. And how was it adopted? In 1997 to 2002, the Indian government now adopted a nationwide second National AIDS Control Project, the second NACP. And it was so aggressively done that it resulted in reducing the prevalence of HIV AIDS in India from 0.54% in 2000 to 0.22% currently. So right now it is much lesser than before. Yes, absolutely. Conditional role, Ramu. Thank you for explaining. Sangamitra, Ramu has explained beautifully, Bacha. If there's any doubt, let me know. Thank you for that, Ramu, and thank you, Sangamitra, for a lovely question. Is it clear with everyone? What are we talking about? Tamil Nadu's model was so successful that Indian government adopted it nationwide in 2002. From 1997, it adopted to 2002. And what was the result? Across India, look at what happened. From 0.54% from 0.54% in 2000 to today only 0.22%. This is the success rate in achieving a drop in the cases of HIV. But despite this national success, there are still problems that we have to suffer from. For example, if you look at the current situation in India of combined burden of HIV and TB. Now, do remember, as I'm taking your CSAT comprehension classes, I always tell you multiple passages in comprehension of CSAT are based on these: HIV, TB, malnourishment. So these articles will give you a lot of input. They will help you in understanding those tough passages. So be very, very open to these data. Be very open to these estimations. They will help you in answer writing and majorly in GS paper 3. So please be aware about that. That today HIV rate in India is 0.22%. It has reduced significantly from 2000. Why? Because India has introduced second, I repeat, second National AIDS Control Project, 1997, taking example from Tamil Nadu case study. But there are significant problems. Please listen carefully. What are the problems? Today, India has a combined burden of HIV and TB, tuberculosis. Why? According to a World Health Organization Global TB Report 2025, India accounts for 25% of all TB cases in the world. That's major. That's about 36 million people. Plus, India has about 7.5% of global HIV burden. That's about 40 million people. And this is a significant number of people with HIV, AIDS, and TB. 25% of global TB cases, India, 7.5%. 7.5% of global HIV, India. 40 million people with HIV. TB is the most common opportunistic infection with HIV patients. Now, we all know HIV means a compromised immunity. Somebody with a suppressed immunity is much more likely to face infections that are viral, bacterial, fungal, or vector borne. Naturally, because your immunity is low. You have a lower white blood cell count. You cannot combat infections. You will get them more easily and you will suffer more. And that's the problem here. People with HIV are very prone to TB. Even if they go to hospital, they can catch an infection. Plus, we have already discussed about how in India, TB has become resistant to basic antibiotics. If you remember clearly, everyone, we have spoken about it. What have we spoken about? We have spoken about antimicrobial resistance in TB. TB today does not respond to many antibiotics. New research is going on. Correct? Yes? Aspirant? Correct, Sangamitra, Ramu? Yes? Everyone? Yeah? TB is now resistant. And that's the problem also. That people with HIV are more prone to get TB. It becomes a very dangerous combination. 25% of HIV-related deaths in India have been caused by TB. Look at that now. That's shocking. 25% of HIV AIDS deaths in India have not happened because of HIV itself, because they contracted TB. India has, now comes the main thing. Yes, India has 25% of total MDR TB cases. Yes, Anup, MDR-TB. We have spoken about it. Vikash and Diptesh and Reshma that day had given us great inputs. Yes, Priyanshu, Shekhar, Anup, and everyone else here, each one of you dear. Remember, we have spoken in an article about MDR-TB, multiple drug resistant TB, a TB that doesn't respond to the first line antibiotics. So that's why these people who get TB, yes, multi-drug resistant, Shekhar. Very good, bacha. Now, those people who get HIV will definitely suffer more from infections like TB. And the total number of HIV people, out of them, 25% are dying due to MDR TB. TB is not being cured properly. Plus, they have a weak immunity. What is the world doing? There is a global target for eliminating TB by 2030, just like Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, very good, Ramu. Just like Sustainable Development Goals have a target of 2030, total 17 SDGs. Absolutely, Kuldeep. We have a target of eliminating TB from the whole world by 2030. But India has set a very ambitious deadline. India has a very ambitious deadline. India says, I will cure my TB problem by 2025. But we all know we cannot achieve that. With 25% of global TB case burden, with 7.5% of HIV disease burden, with majority of HIV patients dying due to TB, we cannot achieve 2025 elimination of TB. Yes, absolutely, Anu and Bulbul. We cannot achieve that. By 2025, that's very clear. What are the initiatives that Indian government has mainly taken in this field? The biggest one is PMTB-MBA. What does that mean? Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. It means we have to prioritize testing for people. It means we have to report the cases of TB on a national portal. That's an all India database. Plus, we have to immediately begin treatment for such people at the government hospital if they are poor and take care of their nutrition. Under TB Mukt Bharat, India also initiates the TB Nikshay program. What program was that? The Nikshay program. Under this, the government takes care of nutrition by providing some fruits and supplements and healthy foods to people who suffer from TB. These are certain things we do. But there is an interstate variation, just like some students were telling. I don't remember who was telling, but somebody said. It was aspirant who mentioned that to us. Thank you, dear. Absolutely, you were right. Looking at TB, there are 5 states in India who have a major TB burden. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Rajasthan. Together, these 5 states are contributing to over 56% of TB cases in India as of 2024. 56% of TB cases coming from 5 states, UP, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh. There is a huge variation in state to state, that means. Today, Tamil Nadu's role model could work very well for these 5 states in a problem. They will have a much greater learning to learn from Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu is, now I'm repeating, so listen carefully, it will help you in answering the question. Tamil Nadu has become the first state in India to integrate TB mortality prediction model developed by Indian Council of Medical Research, NIE, into its state TB monitoring system. What am I saying? Let me quickly write it down so that nobody is confused. I just said 5 states contribute to 56% of TB. Tamil Nadu was an excellent case study of creating the National AIDS Control Program into a multi-level state cooperative society. Tamil Nadu has successfully done that, and so can we. But Tamil Nadu is also the first state in India. I write this down here. Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to do what? Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to create a very smart prediction model for TB. It is known as ICMRNIE because it is conducted under the Indian Council of Medical Research. And what is the special thing about it? It is the mortality prediction model. What does it predict? Mortality rates with TB. How many people are likely to die because of TB infection? Tamil Nadu is the first state to do that. So what do you mean by ICMRNIE? It is a premier public health research institute situated in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I repeat, ICMRNIE is a very top level health research institute for public health situated in Chennai. It functions under ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. And what is the role? The role is it is the apex body, the top body in India for biomedical research. It works under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. What is the duty? The duty is to conduct research on distribution and determinants, causes of diseases in India, to focus on HIV, AIDS, TB, other vector-borne disease. India also has a very high malaria burden, please remember. Recently, I made a video on how India also has its own indigenous malaria vaccine. Yes, and recently, the international vaccine body called Gavi has announced cheaper and much more affordable malarial vaccine. In that video, I also spoke about India's own indigenously created malaria vaccine that is now sent out for trials. It will finally be commercialized very soon now. India also has a high malaria burden, by the way. So, the duty of ICMR NIE is to look at all the disease, their causes, and then to also provide early intervention to reduce death because of various diseases. It also looks into non-communicable diseases especially, but it also did a very good research in COVID-19 pandemic. So what to conclude with? What's the conclusion of the situation? The conclusion is India has definitely successfully controlled many HIV cases and controlled the pandemic or epidemic nature of HIV through decentralized planning, through responsive governance, example, Tamil Nadu Cooperative Society model, including India's second National AIDS Control Program of 1997, modeled after Tamil Nadu, including the ICMRNIE. But the same approach that Tamil Nadu has used, investigation, use of technology in mapping the cases, predicting the deaths that can happen, strong awareness among people about both TB and HIV, providing cheap nutrition as well as treatment. If we apply all that to all cases of TB, state by state, city by city, definitely we can achieve the target, maybe not by 2025, but definitely in line with the global deadline of 2030. Okay, so now let me quickly show you the question. Okay, Sitaram, that's very valid. 5 states, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar, have the highest burden. Correct. Absolutely, Anup. Hygiene and population and pollution play a major role. And thank you. Code name Victory. It was the Falsivax. Very, very good. The Falsivax, the first indigenous malaria vaccine in India. Good morning, Yogi Sai. Okay. Now let's have a look at the question. The ELISA test, very, very good, that we use for HIV typically. Very good. And thank you, Ramu, for saying that. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. God bless you there. Absolutely. Ultimately, it boils down to HFSS, high fat, sugar, salt diet. The lesser immunity, the more the disease. Quickly, the question now. Very good. Thank you, Ramu. The treatment that we take for the cases of multi-drug resistant TB, MDR TB, has been discussed by aspirant. The B-palm treatment, that's for MDR TB. Now the question. Consider the following statements regarding India's response to HIV/AIDS. 1. The Tamil Nadu State AIDS Control Society model enabled direct funding, autonomy, implementation, leading to its adoption nationwide under second National AIDS Control Project. 2. India accounts for about 1/4 of global burden of tuberculosis cases as per the Global TB Report 2025. 3. The Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan focuses mainly on vaccination development and does not include community participation. And 4. Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to integrate TB mortality prediction model developed under ICMR NIE into its disease monitoring system. So which of these statements are valid? Good morning, Terukula. All right. So it all started with Vikash answering us, then Terukula, Sitaram, Diptesh, Sumed, Priyanshu, Victory, Polity, Tarun, Sanghamitra, Rajneesh, Anup, aspirant. Everyone has answered the question primarily. Many students have. And they're all saying it's B. So should it be B? Absolutely, it should be B. Very well answered. Beautifully answered. Third statement is correct. Tamil Nadu is the first state to do that. Wonderful. In fact, the headquarters of ICMRNIE, the apex body for disease research, is in Chennai. It's correct, Sagar Priyanshu Ramu. Very good. Third statement is not correct because this TB Mukt Abhiyan doesn't only focus on vaccine, it definitely focuses upon community participation, sensitization, encouraging people to take treatment and report the cases. But the first two are correct, making B the valid answer. Very well answered. Absolutely, very, very smartly answered. That's correct. Sagar, correct everyone. Very good. Brilliant. Second article, again editorial. Page number 8. Institutionalizing animal representation. Before that, thank you, Ramu, for this wise comment. Yes, the idea behind the program is including communities' participation to eliminate TB by 2025. We may not be able to do it by 25, but definitely we should try for 2030. Thank you so much. Next article, written by none other than the chairperson for animals protection, People for Animals, and also a member of parliament, Miss Menika Gandhi. Yes, she's the top voice in the country for animal rights and animal protection. So let's take up this article very quickly because it definitely relates with GS paper 4 also and GS paper 3 also. Why GS paper 3? Because today we believe in the One Health approach. Repeatedly, we have discussed the One Health strategy because after COVID-19 pandemic in India, we believe that animal, plant and human health is all integrated. That's called the One Health approach. Because all the pandemics today, whether it was COVID, swine flu, bird flu, lumpy cattle disease, or Marburg virus, all of them transmit from one species to another. That's called zoonotic disease. To eliminate that, we need the One Health approach. So definitely this article is important because it talks about animal safety. GS paper 3, science, public health, One Health. And also GS paper 4 because we are looking at basic ethics, animal welfare ethics, animal right protection. Now, what does this article say? So the author has said that modern democracy in India has been very biased. It is very anthropogenic centered. It's all about anthropocentric philosophy. That means in India, we believe that in a democracy, only humans have right. It's all about human beings, what suits them, what is good or what's bad for them. This kind of idea has always separated animal rights from human rights, treating animals as non-rational, as brainless, and as non-political beings who have no right because they are not sentient. Now, what is sentient? Sentient is sentient is an organism who is capable of feeling, experiencing an emotion or a feeling, pain, or any kind of realization. That's called sentient. But in India, public policy often believes that animals are non-rational, non-sentient, and ultimately they are a resource for the human being. We do not see them as a separate identity in the ecosystem. We don't see them like that. And today we are paying the price because we neglected animal health and hygiene, because we continued to engage in ruthless practices in animal sector, animal farming, dairy sector, agriculture sector, for that matter, even the domestication of animals. It has always been very human centric. Yes, absolutely, Kojumba and Ramu, because all the rules are created by human beings. And people feel that humans are sentient. Very good. Anybody who is able to perceive or feel something, we think only humans can do that. That's a very anthropocentric argument. What kind of argument? Anthropocentric argument. Only based on human convenience. Animals have no value. They are only a resource. Today, see, we pay the price. Today, COVID pandemic or swine flu or bird flu, it takes thousands of lives at a sweep. Because we never bothered about animal safety. Today, the same infections are coming to us. It's a reminder from the ecology that you have destroyed a fundamental component of the food system, food chain, ecosystem, and you are bound to suffer. Same thing we suffered when we did deforestation and global warming. We suffered, right? Same thing is happening because we have not taken animal rights seriously. This separation leads to systematic and systemic exploitation of animals because animals in India are seen as property of individuals, of humans, not as political subjects. Today, animal representation matters. Why does it matter? Because it is not only an issue of cruelty against animal or somebody being kind or not. It's not just about ethics, values, and morality. For example, a very famous thinker said for GS paper 4 that you can judge a society from the way the society treats its animals. That means it is majorly an ethical issue, but at the same time, it is also a scientific issue. If we only look at animals as subject of pity, subject of compassion and to be used, there is a structural flaw in our democracy. There is nobody, no group, no NGO, no proper dedicated government department who can be the custodian of animal legal representation. What can be done and what should not be done to these animals. Animals should not be seen as objects of charity. They should, in fact, be seen as coexisters, our colleagues who are sharing this planet with us. We depend on animals, whether it's for dairy products, whether it's for woolens, whether it's for food, or whether it's for running the ecosystem successfully, whether it's for safety or transportation. We have always used them. So today you cannot treat them as objects. We have a political, ethical, and moral obligation towards them. The author says animal representation should be based on two things. One, they are sentient, they can feel emotions. And second, we only respect them if they are huge. Like elephant, we show some mercy towards an elephant. We can show mercy towards a rhinoceros or a tiger because we believe that they are a part of wildlife. They are a part of ecotourism. If they are not there, that means we are not protecting biodiversity. But what about smaller animals like cattle, cow, dogs, cats? Just because they are smaller in size, will human always treat them as objects of abuse? The current approach in India is about protecting animals only when either they are extraordinary or they are endangered or vulnerable. We never protect them because it is their right to be protected, no matter which animal it is. We in India today, therefore, absolutely learn a lesson from some such democracies who treat animals as coexisters, not as objects of usage. We need to create proper representative bodies for animals, just like we have created for children, for elderly population, for physically disabled individuals, for psychologically disabled people. We need to create separate bodies for them. Ultimately, it's about sustainable environment, something that we need to preserve for future generations. And whosoever is a member of these communities, these departments, these organizations, these bodies to represent animals should also act like fiduciary. What should they act like? I repeat, a very important word used by the writer, fiduciary. Where did I use the word fiduciary for the last time? Where did I use the word fiduciary the last time? If you remember, we were talking about an article in the Hindu in which we discussed that the relationship between client and a lawyer. What? The relationship between a client and a lawyer is of a fiduciary nature. And what is fiduciary? When one person acts in the best interest of another. When one person is committed to the welfare of another, that's a fiduciary relationship. We spoke about it when we were discussing client and a lawyer relationship. That police in India. Yes, Diptesh, very good. The DPDP Act, excellent. Very good. The Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, very good. We were discussing, yes, credibility fiduciary. We were discussing that how in India police during investigation cannot issue summons to lawyers. They cannot expect the lawyers to come and tell everything about their clients until the client and the lawyer relationship is alive. There are certain facts that should be hidden in the client interest unless the client himself said, okay, tell about it. I have no problem. Very good, Anup. To protect the secrecy of client-lawyer relationship. Very good. That's when we spoke about fiduciary. Right? Today, again, this article is talking about fiduciary, that animal protection bodies have to act like fiduciary guardians of animals. As somebody said, who said that lovely comment here? That we have, Diptesh said, we have to move from anthropocentrism towards ecocentrism. Very good. We have to look beyond humans. Yes? Very good. So that's what the article says. Now, the article is also saying that because various governments are getting profit from industries that exploit animals. Now, look at India's GDP. If you look at the contributions into GDP, it is amazing to see that agriculture, ecotourism, taxation, dairy sector, all these contribute so much to government's income that government benefits from animal abuse, from animal exploitation. In that case, the government majority number of times is absolutely insensitive towards animal issues. Then in that case, what happens? We have to understand the government will not take a pro-animal stand anytime, because it's about money benefit, monetary benefit. And here comes the role of expertise. We need to create a top notch panel that is determined by participation from top qualified veterinarians, top qualified lawyers, human rights activists, NGO workers, people who have experience in working with wildlife, psychologists, behavioral experts. And that's when these people have to push for animal reforms. Majority number of times, bad, abusive practices are protected by the law. Government will never allow it to reform because of economic profit. Now, a very good example could be in India, we know we have various taboos when it comes to consuming products like pork, products like beef. There are social cultural taboos and which need to be respected. After all, it led to the Great Rebellion of 1987, 1857 also. One big cause behind the 1857 War of Independence was the rumor among Indian sepoys that the greased Enfield cartilages are using animal fat that was abusive to the religious beliefs of Indian soldiers. So religion has a major role to play in ethics. Now today, once again, there are paradoxes here. Although we really respect certain milching cows and buffaloes, but the fact that India is one of the top exporters of beef when it comes to buffalo meat. So those are certain paradoxes which exist in animal welfare protocols, and the government doesn't do anything much about them because government is profiting from leather industry, dairy industry. Yes, ecotourism. So the abuse continues. Why is it a failure? The Supreme Court created a committee already for elephant welfare. It was headed by a retired judge, but it lost its effectiveness. It was not effective because of lack of delays in working and lack of accountability. That demonstrates the need for a structural reform. You can't make symbolic committees and think my work is done. Create a national park, you are done. Create a wildlife corridor, you are not. No, you are not done. Until you create a panel that has experts which is recommending you the right ways to stop animal abuse and you follow that, there is no point. And the writer also says animal guardians who should act as fiduciaries in special panels to protect animals should operate at multiple levels. They should have executive functions, legislative, regulatory functions too. They should be like quasi judicial bodies who can issue investigation in the case of animal abuse. We should have advisory council, parliamentary subcommittees. We must have non-voting expert delegates who should follow rule-based policy making, standardized welfare policy, public reporting, transparency, ultimately sensitization. If you can make children in school do coding under new education policy 2020, if you can teach that the value of data mining, if you can teach them the value of AI and deep fakes, definitely you can teach them basic morals when it comes to protecting animals, being kind towards them, not treating them as object, and also sensitizing them about the role of animals in environment. So that moral science is equally important. Where is that today? It's not there. We should have that also. Yes, we should reallocate harmful subsidies. Now there are so many subsidies Indian government is giving on various sectors where it is not needed. Cannot we reroute those subsidies for such sectors which are pro animal, that protect the respect and health of animals, the safety dignity of animals? That's very important today. That's what this article says. Ultimately the article is saying that rather than over government and bureaucratic representation, let's deepen this democracy by ensuring that vulnerable beings like animals, who are also sentient beings, who have emotions and feelings, despite the fact they cannot talk, but still they need protection. They are our responsibility. So therefore, rather than from government created policies, let's create separate panels with separate powers of legislation who have some autonomy, who can punish those who are found guilty of animal abuse and create more sensitiveness about that. This is not only for wildlife animals or marine animals. It is about every animal, domesticated, wild or farm animal. Ultimately, they are a part of ecosystem. That's what your writer is saying, right? A very emotional sort of an appeal she has made. So primarily we can associate this with GS paper 4. We can write this in essay topics when it comes to public morality towards animal rights. Okay? Absolutely. Very good, Anup. That's a very valid point Anup is raising. In fact, I love that point that usually people are more sensitive towards endangered and vulnerable animals. For example, Schedule 1 Wildlife Protection Act 1972 or the IUCN data red list created by IUCN, the red data. We only bother about the CITES convention. What about those who are not in danger? Don't they have rights? Is a bigger question. Very good. Absolutely, Dishang. That's a very valid input. Kerala case study. True. That's true, Kojumba. We cannot oppress like that. Karl Marx. Nature alienation. Okay. Very good aspirant. Smuggling and all of that. Prevention of Animal Cruelty Act. That comes in the picture. It also comes in the picture. What? Animal birth control rules. The New Delhi issue about relocation of stray dogs. That also comes in the picture here. Now, consider the following statements regarding the idea of political representation of animals as discussed in this debate. 1. The proposal challenges traditional human animal divide in democracy systems and argues that animals should not be treated as property. 2. The basis for political representation of animals is their sentience and vulnerability rather than cognitive similarity to humans. And 3. The article says creating independent fiduciary institutions or guardians to formally represent animal interest in legislative and administrative decision making is important. And last, majoritarian democratic systems alone are considered sufficient to safeguard animal rights since welfare policies exist. So absolutely lovely number of answers have come in, began by Vikash Terukula, Polity, Victory, Priyanshu, Sanghamitra, Bulbul, Dishang, Diptesh, Anoop, Rajneesh, Ramu, Sitaram and Bulbul. Everybody says that only the first three statements are valid, so they are. So therefore C will be the right answer. The fourth is just the opposite of this article. Existing protocols are definitely not enough. A very important ethical issue. And absolutely good. That's right, Bulbul. Nowadays, even on the road, you see a lot of animal abuse. So, against the article is talking about the same thing. It also touches upon the Supreme Court verdict to relocate animals outside the main city into animal prevention centers or to vaccinate them. Or also, how the Supreme Court scolded so many states last month in November for not following the proper protocols of ABC rules, not vaccinating, not sterilizing, and not deworming the existing stray dogs. So, very good. Now, third article is a very small one. Let's do a quick case study here. That's correct, aspirant. Very good. Very good, Sumit. Okay. New study finds there is a great biodiversity in the Great Nicobar project site. Now, we all know that the Great Nicobar project created by the Indian government. It's a mega project that aims at creating a huge transshipment link, a township, a thermal power plant, and a major airport, a major port also. All these are the plannings done by Indian government again in the Great Nicobar project case. The infrastructural work has already started. At the same time, there are a lot of people who are criticizing that. GS paper 3, biodiversity protection. Now, local tribals like Shompanese and Nicobari have said that their rights have not been met. They have not been rehabilitated properly. At the same time, their permission has not been taken properly either. And the plant program has started. Another major issue. For a lot of people, this area comes in under a very famous wildlife park. Reshma used to talk a lot about that wildlife park. She is not here with us in the last 2-3 days. Okay, I wish her well. But for all my other dear aspirants, which national park does the Great Nicobar project coincide with? Now remember, we have discussed about that, Sitaram, Priyanshu. Very good, Priyanshu. Yes. We have discussed about that national park for a very long time. Ramu, Kojumba, Diptesh, Vikash. Does anybody remember? We said that the Great Nicobar project is very, very against, it's anti nature protection. Very good, Diptesh. It was the Galathea Bay. Very, very good. Excellent. So many times we have discussed that the Galathea Bay National Park is going to be majorly impacted with this project. Pollution, dust, all that will be causing a problem to the local people, to the biodiversity, including the olive ridley turtle. Yes, olive ridley turtle and various other kind of populations of diverse flora and fauna. Very good, Ramu, Diptesh, Vikash. Galathea Bay. Absolutely well answered. Wonderful. That's what I was mentioning. Victory. We all know that this area is the Galathea Bay area. Plus, it is a seismically weak area. Doing construction here could trigger tsunamis and earthquakes, and still the government says no problem. The project will be created because India needs to focus on maritime security, blue economy, and we need a proper transshipment port so that we can compete with international ports like Colombo and the Singapore port, the Changi port. We need to do that competition. In reality, today there is another research that has found a unique thing. Now, this research says, as Priyanshu reminded us, very good. The other one in the island is Campbell. Very, very good, Diptesh. Good, Sanghamitra. Very, very good. Galathea Bay is a major sensitive area. This project will definitely cause a harm, but the government says no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Now, coming back to the issue. Yes, Ramu, thanks for reminding, my dear. Yes, it's a very funny and ridiculous statement. The government also says that don't worry about the deforestation. We are going to cut 1,300 and more acres of forest. Acres of forest are being cut in the Great Nicobar, but the government says don't worry. We are going to provide you afforestation, compensatory afforestation under India's Campa Act. And where? In Haryana. Ridiculous, right? Growing the trees that grow in Great Nicobar in Haryana. What will you say? As Ramu laughs very rightfully, we all do. Right? Very good victory. Absolutely. The great olive ridley turtle, Olivia mission that Indian government had done. Thank you for that input. Brilliant. Olive ridley turtle. The Gahir Matha. Galathea Bay. Very good. So that's the question today. Now, what really has happened right now? A very interesting research and investigation has found, as Priyanshu said, a new species of snake. This snake has only 4 records in history till date. And it is a potentially new species of bird also that has been photographed in this area only thrice in the last 10 years. These two, this unique snake and this bird, the rare bird, are the recent things that have been found in the Great Nicobar Island. And where have they found? Where have they been found? It's like a reminder from God himself. They have been found within the infrastructure site of the mega Great Nicobar project. Exactly now they have been found. After 10 years, we are seeing this bird, and this unique snake has only been seen 3 times. In November, people said, the investigators and the scientists said that these 2 species are among the nearly 40 new species that have been found in the Great Galathea Bay, Campbell area, Great Nicobar project since 2021. These are among 40 new species. Imagine, 40 new species have been found in last 4 years. Last 4 years. And recently, one unique snake species and bird species were exactly at the infrastructural site of the mega project. Plus, we have found 2 new species of frogs, 4 variety of crabs, 2 geckos, number of small insects that are endemic to this area, flies, moth, beetles, butterflies, all these are unique findings. Nearly half of these have been recorded in 2025 itself. And the snake that has been found is so rare that it is very restricted to this area. It has potential threat if it is relocated, or if it is, if it disappears from this area, we will probably not find it again. It is very rare snake. And it is only restricted to this particular range of Galathea Bay. Researchers say that it has been classified as endangered under the IUCN, Red List, International Union for Conservation of Nature, Red List category. Scientists are saying it should be classified as endangered under the IUCN Red Data category. That's the demand biologists are making, that please protect it. It should be given endangered species criteria. Now, the Great Nicobar project also reports 650 species of plants, 1800 species of animals. This region boasts a remarkable biodiversity. After all, it's one of the great 4 biodiversity hotspots in India. It represents 24% of endemic species found nowhere else, especially among animal groups. And regularly since 2021, every 6 months, we find something new. Some new flora, some new fauna. That shows the area has a potential to become the largest biodiversity sink across South Asia, not just India alone. The Great Nicobar also has the finest tropical rainforest. Today, as we had the COP30 summit at Belém, Brazil, Convention of Parties 30, it deliberately happened in Amazon rainforest to tell the people of the world that protect your rainforest. They act as the lungs of the planet. They act as carbon sinks. They do carbon sequestration. Same thing can be said about Great Nicobar also. Is it not hypocrisy that preserving Amazon forest because it's the lung of the world, then this area of Great Nicobar is the lung of South Asia? Creating a project here, is it okay in such a delicate rainforest belt Definitely, it calls for complete protection, identifying these unique species as endangered or vulnerable, not doing any construction that can cause them a future, probably disappearance or going extinct completely. And what about the local species of tribals? What about the local species of animals that tribals have protected so far? What about tribal rights on forest? What about that? So all that the government is not considering. By just saying that nothing is going to happen and relocation will happen, you cannot justify disturbing biodiversity at any cost. That's what this article said. Yes, Campa was in question here. Very good, Anu. The Irwin wolf snake species has been found. That's another investigation. The Irwin wolf snake species. Yes, Priyanshu Victory? Yes, Ramu. Correct. Very good. That's another article. Yes, yes, that's also coming up, Ramu. Very good. That's about demographic shift. Very good, Ramu. Yes, Tarun, that's correct. It's inevitable in the view of China's aggressiveness. Correct. We need this project because we are very worried about Chinese aggression in Indian Ocean. Especially, we also spoke about the Coco Island of Myanmar, and how military junta allows China to set up bases over there. From there, China keeps on spying on India's missiles, space projects, especially in the APJ Abdul Kalam Island. China spies that. So therefore, India is very worried about that development in the Coco Island. That's very near to India's own landfall island in Andaman. Remember, we spoke about it. So yes, these are inevitable, but at the same time, they also pose a major biodiversity risk. It's the classical ethical debate between infrastructural expansion, employment generation, and the threat to biodiversity and tribal culture. Now, coming back to next article, it comes from Pakistan. Pakistan has recently created a 27th constitutional amendment. What amendment? Constitutional 27th amendment. It was signed and brought into effect on November 2025. Who signed it? President Asif Ali Zardari gave his permission to the bill after Parliament approved that bill. But right now, the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights has strictly issued a public statement expressing a major concern on this amendment. United Nations is saying this is the same amendment like the ill thought of 26th Amendment Act that was adopted in a very hurry situation, in a very emergency like situation, hastily, without any consultation, without any kind of judicial investigation. It was simply adopted. But what was the 26th Amendment Bill passed in Pakistan? The 26th Amendment Bill that was passed in Pakistan primarily spoke about changing the structure of judiciary. It was about reducing the total tenure of the Chief Justice of Pakistan to 3 years. And a Judicial Appointment Commission will now select the Chief Justice of Pakistan from among the 3 most top senior judges of the Supreme Court rather than the traditional system that was based on automatic elevation based on seniority. So the 26th Amendment had completely restructured Pakistani judiciary. It also became a law in October 2024. People say it had completely ruined Pakistan's the right of constitutional education. And it had completely created a disaster to Pakistani judiciary. That was 22nd Amendment. Today we are saying that Pakistan has suddenly started 27th Amendment. What is this 27th Amendment all about? What will it do? One, it will restructure judicial adjudicatory mechanism. How? The amendment says to create a separate, now listen carefully, the amendment creates a completely separate Federal Constitutional Court, FCC. What does it create? A separate Federal Constitutional Court, FCC. What will it do? It will completely change the role and the importance of Supreme Court of Pakistan when it comes to constitutional reviewing power. This Federal Constitutional Court will completely change how constitutional questions in Pakistan are governed or adjudicated. It will now also impact how constitutional benches are created and how high-level judicial appointments are made. Second, it also changes military command and accountability. The 27th Amendment Bill says that provisions in Pakistani constitution like Article 243 that are related to military and defense will now completely change. And new arrangements will be created where senior officials Topmost officials like president, they will never ever be held accountable for a crime. They will always get immunity from criminal prosecution. And this immunity will not only be given to the president, it will also be given to the top notch military leaders. All senior high officials in military and executive will never be criminally prosecuted. That raises a question about military accountability. Critics in the United Nations are saying this amendment is exactly like the previous 22nd Amendment. That was also done without any discussion with public. This is also following the same structure. It has a grave danger on separation of power, checks and balances in Pakistan. 26th Amendment done earlier had ruined the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. And today, 27th Amendment is also doing the same thing, giving a complete immunity to top senior military officials. They can do anything and they will never be held accountable. This will cause a grave concern over protection of human rights. And how has Pakistan responded? Does Pakistan say something? Yes. Pakistan's government is saying, stop blaming us. It is nothing wrong that we have done. These constitutional amendments are exclusive domain of Pakistan's representatives. It is a domestic issue. United Nations should respect Pakistan's parliamentary sovereignty and autonomy. Nobody should interfere here. And it also says UN report and United Nations criticism is not reflecting the ground reality of Pakistan. Pakistan is also saying that while opposition parties are criticizing this amendment, that it will completely take away, snatch the power of Supreme Court and consolidate all the power in the hands of the new FCC. It will take away Supreme Court's authority. But the leaders of Pakistan are refusing to believe that. They are saying all these blames are fake. United Nations is a high-profile international body which finds it very easy to criticize in international media anything it feels like. It has nothing to do with Pakistan making a mistake, and please respect our freedom. Don't interfere. The government of Pakistan says amendment is a basic domestic parliamentary exercise. There is nothing much to talk about it at the level of UN. Does it have implications for India? Yes. If Pakistan's Supreme Court gets weak, if people like top military leaders in Pakistan get unlimited power and criminal immunity against criminal prosecution, will it not create a danger in a nuclear armed country? Will it not have regional security implications for India? Is it not unpredictable that in Pakistan, if rather than a civil military, it becomes a complete military control, will that not lead to terrorism and attacks on Indian territory just like it happened in Pahalgam case? That is what India is asking. Too much taking away of human rights and, abuse of public rights. Will it not lead to some kind of refugee influx? Migration from the country, illegal migration? All those questions are today valid for India. Because 27th Amendment has created an internal clash in Pakistan. Between Pakistan's own leadership, its own opposition party. Public is also criticizing. United Nations also says by killing judicial independence and killing military accountability, you are raising a very difficult situation for yourself. But Pakistan is opaque to that. And that is why, whether it has a dangerous situation for regional security, we will see as time flies by. Now, quickly a question. Very good. Absolutely. That's very valid point about COP, Sankamitra. Okay? Yes, Ramu, that's correct. It will become a more dangerous enemy now. Pakistan is a more dangerous military enemy, Ramu. Thank you. Yes, Tarun, it will impact India's security. Very, very good. Yes, Sitaram. Question. With reference to recent developments in Pakistan, consider the following questions. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights criticized Pakistan's 27th Constitutional Amendment for being passed without broad consultation with public and for potentially undermining judicial independence. 2. Pakistan government has rejected the UN concern, saying that constitutional amendment is exclusively within Pakistan's sovereign authority. And third, 27th Amendment was proposed to expand the power of Supreme Court and to make it, and to give it more control over military accountability mechanism. So which should be the right answer? Started with Dipesh, then Priyanshu, Vikash, Sitaram, Tarun, Sumed, Dishank, Kuldeep has answered. Sanghamitra, Sagar, Polity and Aspirant have answered. And each of you say that it's A. And Tarun also answers, yes, it is A. No doubt the third statement is wrong. The third is opposite of the truth. It is the 27th Amendment which has consistently Just like 26th one, restructured democracy. Very good, Terukula Ramu aspirant Rajneesh. Yes, rather than expanding Supreme Court power, it has reduced the power of Supreme Court and given the power to FCC. Supreme Court is not powerful anymore. It will make the Supreme Court so weak that Supreme Court will not even be able to hold military accountable or executive accountable for any wrong action that they do. So that's why A will be the valid answer. Now, as Ramu was mentioning about another article, yes, Kujumba, that's correct, very good. The another article is coming again from Lakshadweep and Andaman. We recently spoke about the Great Nicobar. This is Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep. That was about the Great Nicobar project and environmental danger, biodiversity. This is about something else. It is about demography, population and its dynamics, GS paper 2, Indian society. It says recently a report has found that population of India's island territories like Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar have been projected to increase to 9.68% for Lakshadweep and 5.73% for Andaman by the end of 2051. Now, do not forget, just 5 more minutes, Siba. Do not forget, everyone, that 2051 is one very big year for India. We all know that according to United Nations and World Bank, it is in 2051 that India will start experiencing a negative fall, a major fall in total fertility rate. India will start experiencing such a situation that we will then become an old society. Which state in India will become the oldest state? I discussed it on Saturday morning. Which state in India will become the oldest state among all? Which state in India will have the highest old population, geriatric population above 60? Very good, aspirant. Very good, Vikash. Absolutely correct. Kerala. Kerala is the oldest state in India. Highest old age, population, lowest fertility among others. Delhi also, very low fertility rate. Yes, Nagaland, Meghalaya, very low fertility rate. So, what is going on now? Very good. Bihar, the youngest state, higher fertility rate, about 2.8. Very good. So, this article is saying the same thing. Yes, Kojumba. If in 2051, India's population will continue to be older, declining young population, declining youth bulge, declining demographic dividend. Very good, Ramu. Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear. So, declining demographic dividend. It is also in 2051 that Andaman and Lakshadweep will experience some population increase, and that's a considerable increase. The report has recently been released, and they say that the islands will create a very unique situation to India's population dynamic right now. Because usually union territories, example Delhi, they are already seeing a very low fertility rate, about 1.4. That's very lower than replacement level fertility of 2.1. But these two islands will now suddenly see a boom in population back in 2051. Although there is one problem here. If you look at the sex ratio of this population structure, you will realize that in both the cases, male population is more than female population. That means the adult sex ratio is slightly deviated. The number of women per 1,000 male is a little poor in both these island countries, and that could be a matter of concern, which again hampers fertility in the long run, which again decreases the workforce participation. But still, with this trend, it is a welcome thing. It's a good thing for India because we know that population control is important. But in a situation where fertility rate has fallen below 2.1, all India, if you look at 2018 data, it has already become 1.9. India is much lesser than even developed countries when it comes to fertility rate now. TFR, number of children a woman gives birth to in her reproductive lifespan, 15 to say 49. In India, it is already 1.9. Total fertility rate, national average, that's very low. Very low as compared to replacement level fertility, that's perfect 2.1. So this increase in UTs like Andaman and Lakshadweep could be good for us. But we need to make sure there is a lesser gender bias here. We need to make sure it's inclusive. Because if only the male population is higher as per the last para of this article, that could mean a slight danger to demographic dividend. Yes, Vikash, absolutely correct. Rural. Very good, Vikash. Thanks for reminding me that. That's wonderful. So Vikash reminds us what we studied on Saturday, whereas the rural fertility rate is fixed on replacement level fertility 2.1. That was a question we solved on that. It's the urban that is falling below that. Very, very good. Beautiful. Very good, Ramu Kojumba. Very good, Shekhar. Very good. Okay, next article. Center's citizenship scrutiny power is limited, says EC. Again, it's not a new topic. It's GS paper 2 citizenship in India. We all thoroughly understand after the special intensive revision in Bihar before the state elections of Bihar. There was a big controversy about who determines citizenship in India. Is it the central government? Is it the Supreme Court? Is it the Constitution? Is it the Election Commission of India? We all understand citizenship in India is strictly governed under Part 2 of Indian Constitution under the Citizenship Right Act 1955. That's correct. Election Commission of India works under Representation of People Act 1950 and 1951. It has zero power, no power actually, to decide who is the citizen and who is not. Very good, Vikash. Very good, aspirant. Part 2 of the Constitution, decided by Ministry of Home Affairs. Citizenship Amendment Act 1955. Election Commission of India has no authority to do that. This question became prominent during SIR, when Election Commission started asking for valid documents to prove citizenship. Even Assam case study under Assam Accord was in the news. We have done that also. Now, today there is one more argument that Election Commission of India is making. What is Election Commission of India say? What does it say? Election Commission of India today is complaining. It is saying that in India, although the Home Ministry under the Citizenship Right Act 1955 deals with various questions of citizenship, but the central government also has a limited role to play. It should not exceed its role. Today, ECI is saying that under Section 9 of the Citizenship Act 1955, Section 9 of Citizenship Act 1955, which exclusively deals with how an Indian citizen, if they take a foreign citizenship, if they obtain a foreign citizenship happily, with consent, voluntarily, that means they will have to give away, resign their Indian citizenship. If they do not do that, it will be automatically terminated. So it deals with the question of acquired foreign citizenship by Indian citizens. Section 9 of Citizenship Act. Which section? Section 9. I repeat, which section? Section 9 of Citizenship Act. That decides that if an individual from India, a citizen, takes up a foreign citizenship, their Indian citizenship will have to be terminated. Now, Election Commission is saying that this is the only power that central government has. And under Section 9, central government can advocate in this any time. It is absolutely okay to decide whether somebody has taken outside citizenship, should their citizenship be completely terminated, what is the protocol, what is the procedure there. This is perfectly a power that is given to the central government with all authenticity. But when it comes to other related aspects of citizenship, then it is open to inquiry by other bodies, including Election Commission. In that case, we cannot see it as the exclusive domain of the central government, with all other provisions except Section 9. Section 9 is for central government. Please take your time. But apart from that, if there is any other issue regarding citizenship, it should be opened up for questioning by other authorities in India, including Election Commission of India. That is what Election Commission of India is saying today. So Election Commission of India says that in case Parliament is trying to say that central government is the only authority that will determine every aspect related to ECI, then it is not okay. Although it is correct that Election Commission of India has taken its power from Article 324 of the Constitution. Correct. It only has the power to conduct election, supervise and control election. Agreed, it cannot declare citizenship, but it can ask a question to the government regarding any aspect of citizenship except all that is covered in Section 9 of that Act. That's it. So the article also says the Representation of People Act 1950. In its Section 16 and 19 say that anybody who will give vote in India should be an Indian citizen. It should be an Indian citizen. But Section 16 disqualifies those who are not Indian citizens to be mentioned in the electoral roll. Okay, they cannot be registered. And therefore, the SIR that was conducted had raised a major question in Bihar that who is and who is not a citizen. In that case, Election Commission says you cannot rule out questioning by Election Commission. We have every right to ask questions. Agreed, we are not deciding citizenship, but we can ask. If it is not in Section 9 about termination, Acquisition of foreign citizenship, we will ask questions. That's an affidavit that ECI has submitted. Very good. That's a proper thing, Vikash. Thank you for that. Thank you, Kojumba. Beautifully defined about the Assam Accord 1985. Very good. Well done, Vikash. Well said. Quickly, the question. With reference to powers and functions of ECI and citizenship provisions, look at these statements. 1. The ECI supervises, directs, controls, and sees the preparation of electoral rolls. It conducts the election of parliament, state legislature, offices of president and vice president. 2. The power to determine the validity of Indian citizenship lies with the ECI. Okay. 3. The Citizenship Act 1955 empowers the central government to grant or to revoke citizenship, and ECI does not have any role in citizenship matters. And 4. The Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners are appointed by President of India, and they can be removed through parliamentary impeachment similar to Supreme Court judges. So which of these are valid? Is it B and D are same? Sorry for that error. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dishank, for pointing me out that error. Okay, agreed. So let's remove one. Let's only make a choice between A, B and C then. But since you're answering D, let's remove B then. Okay, let's remove B. I'm so sorry about that. So sorry, bacha, about that. Let's remove B. A, C and D are the only options. So then which of these are valid? Let me quickly see who responded. Started from Dipesh, Sanghamitra, aspirant, Dishank, Sumed, Vikash, yes, Priyanshu, Aktopam, Dishank, Akarsh, Sagar, Ramu, Terukula, Diptesh. Yes, I saw that, Diptesh. I saw that, Ramu. Thank you, Bacha, for pointing out. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about that. Thank you, Sanghamitra. So which of these are valid then? Everybody is saying it's D. Is it indeed D? Let's check. Is the fourth statement correct? Yes, the fourth statement is absolutely correct. Fourth statement is absolutely correct. It's true that the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners are appointed by the President of India under, also remember the article 324. Do not forget Article 324. That's one thing to remember. The second thing to remember is that they also, the Chief Election Commissioner can only be removed in the same manner as a Supreme Court judge, that is by parliamentary impeachment on proven grounds of misbehavior or incapacity. The other election commissioners can be removed in the same way like this. So therefore, fourth is correct. If fourth is correct, then definitely D will be the right answer. But is first correct? First is also correct. That's correct. Third is correct. Third is also correct. Second is correct. No, it's not correct. As Kojumba, Sanghamitra, Sitaram, Eric is also here. Ramu, Dishank, Diptesh. Absolutely, it's not correct. Election Commission of India has no such power. Now, the last article is a quick prelims article. Interestingly, it says more than 300 Indians have come back. They have been lifted by the Indian Air Force from Sri Lanka, as Sri Lanka is experiencing a major impact of Cyclone Ditwa. So this operation was conducted by the Indian Air Force, and Indian Air Force IL-76 and C-130J heavy lift carriers have been responsible for rescuing more than 300 Indians in batches, bringing them back to the Kerala coast. Okay, the operation was all about coordination, disaster response, and do remember in one of our articles 2-3 days before, we have discussed about the National Disaster Response Fund and State Disaster Response Fund. So do not forget about that, which is contributed by the central government. In India, why we do not have automatic release of funding, and why states like Kerala complained that after Wayanad disaster, landslide disaster, I wanted 2,200 crore, but center only gave me about 168 crore. That is not sufficient. Why? Because in India, there is a conflict between NDRF and SDRF. Do not forget that. So for this article, please remember who said Operation, the comment is deleted now. Somebody was reminding us Operation Sagar Bandhu. Yes, that's about securing the rights of people in Sri Lanka hit by the cyclone. Very, very good. But ultimately, do not forget, it's in line with India's larger commitment to the Mahasagar initiative that was taken in Mauritius by Indian Prime Minister back in 2018. And it is also in line with India's neighbor first policy. Is that okay? Now, if I ask you, okay, Kojumba, that was a reminder. Thank you for that. Yes, Operation Sagar Bandhu. Very good. Very, very good. And that was correct, Kojumba. ECI has no rights for citizenship. Very good. Yemen named Ditwa. Very good polity. Absolutely, Vikash. Thank you. National Disaster Management Act 2005. Thank you. Very, very good. All right, then that's it for today's Hindu. Okay. And I end here. And I'll see you tomorrow then with another interesting newspaper release. Let's see what happens tomorrow in the news. I'll come for that. Okay. And let's try to cover tomorrow's segment tomorrow then. See you. God bless you. All the best. If you are interested in UPSC CSAT classes with me, comprehension, join the SAIL initiative. I'll announce the SAIL initiative tomorrow, and you can definitely join us there. Think about the prelims course. In the meantime, yes, it's done, Shekhar. I'm going now. So thank you so much for being with me. God bless you. Bye, Diptesh, Shekhar. Bye, Ujev. Bye, Ramu. Bye, Anup. Bye, Aspirant. Sitaram. Vikash. Kojumba. Okay, thank you so much. Sagar. Terukula, Anup, Aspirant, Sanghamitra, Eric, Dishank, Terukula, Polity, Sumedh. Who else was there with me? Baswaraj, Rajneesh, Tarun, Kuldeep. Thank you so much, each one of you. Codename Victory, Priyanshu, all of you. Okay then. All right, Sanghamitra. Okay, Anup. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye bye, everyone.